last year. Really kept, put the Big Red right at the top of the Ivies, not just the Ivies, but nationally.
Getting our first faceoff of the game here, Drew Blanchard for the Buckeyes has had a great start to the year, replacing Justin Inacio, which is no easy task. Inacio, all-time leading faceoff winner here, and right now coaching, he's sadly his season coming to an end with an injury, but Coach Nick Mine there done that. And you also talk about the experience of defenders like Adler there.
He led the Ivies last year in takeaways. He's 5'8". He's not the biggest guy in the world, but man, he's feisty, and I think that he can wreak a lot of havoc for a team's offenses.
Well, on the Big Red, and they get their first real possession here after the quick turnover from off the stick of Kelleher. So now, Andrew Dalton moving it around here. He gets it to Ryan Sheehan.
Curse with the short stick matchup is probably not the best situation.
Yeah, here he comes. Oh, what a shot. Goes low on Walland. And C.J. Curse, the name that we're going to talk a lot.
You're going to see it right here where they have Ohio State has the short stick matchup, and he just splits. We're going to have an offsides 30-second power man up for the Buckeyes here. Yeah, that Skyler's save right there. It was massive. I mean, because that could have been a two-goal lead for the Big Red, and he comes up big with the save. Now we got a man up for the Buckeyes.
Myers leaves one for Colby Smith. And Smith with a rocket to the bottom right corner. Just like that, the Buckeyes tie things up at 1.
Yeah, big play. I mean, it's as simple as that. 2-on-1 became wide open, and you can't let Jack have his hands free and make good decisions like that. I mean, it's super easy for them to, the rangy, big-time shooters that the Buckeyes have. Well, Jack, we talked about the riding ability of the Big Red before the game. They are just killers on the ride. Like they're 25% of the time they're causing turnovers. That's a pretty big stat for them in possessions.
Coyle coming from that X spot. Bobby Van Buren draws a flag, but it won't matter. That's a score. Brian Piatelli gets on the board right after, as you said, Bear, they're looking for that 2-on-1 opportunity. They like the smart shot. It's instilled in them by their coach.
Yeah, last year when they met up, the Big Red could not capitalize on man up, and so I don't know if that's something that they look back at and said, hey, what is the Buckeyes doing man down-wise that we can't figure out?
Kelleher fakes, comes back in with the left, goes top right corner. Oh, what a spin move on Jacob Snyder. Kelleher fakes the right hand. Look, zoom.
See how they're bringing the short stick out here. See if they can get the switch.
Coyle
wow.
Feeding a cutting Andrew Dalton. And I mean, you said it's a guessing game when you're within 10 yards. How about within 5 feet?
Yeah, that's a tough go. They ran that two-man game over there to try to open up Curse or at least get the switch on the short stick. Then as they were trying to, then they kick it back through X. Then as they're trying to figure out what they're doing off that switch, it slipped to the inside right on top of Skyler. That's a tough one for sure because they could have called a push, potentially could have called a push into the crease, but apparently he got enough of just the front of him to push him into the crease and call it in and out. Once you have the ball outside the crease, you can't go into the crease. So that's what they ended up calling.
Scott White coming in hot. Good shot there. Erlin turns it away. Ball goes out of bounds. And now that's big for the Buckeyes. That shot clock was getting low, Bear. They get a full 60 here, and they take advantage. Dylan McGee coming in streaking. He goes low. Buckeyes cut the Cornell bleeding there. They get a goal to make it 4-2. And that's a big confidence boost there.
Yeah, they definitely needed that. Like you said, stop the bleeding a little bit. Cornell looks like they're going in this saying, hey, look, we want to be slow to slide. Let's go ahead and keep our matchups as long as we can. Did not work out for them there. So you might see an adjustment where they're going to say, hey, we may have to slide. It's just tough. Listen, they're playing against, one of the best teams in the country right now, and they just got done playing one of the best teams in the country. The ultimate goal is you get a little taste of these teams early in the season, then you're prepping yourself for Big Ten play.
Cascading, another one where he comes off the face-off and gets a good shot attempt. This one looked like it was in Wallen's arms, and it comes out of it at the last minute, squeaking by here to get Cascade in the goal. And 13 seconds into the second quarter, Cornell strikes again.
Yeah, we look again. They're slow to slide here, and it's something that they're just not used to, is losing these faceoffs. And they have scored. Like they've scored the Bordas and let him clear the ball.
Island here, working his way inside. He goes low and scores. Blake Island using the bounce shot, had the angle there on Aiden Blake. Rides the body inside and gets a big goal for the Buckeyes. They put themselves back within 2.
Yeah, this is something the Buckeyes had to do. It's like we went back, we just talked about their game with North Carolina. It was like, it's that heavyweight fight. Okay, well, we got up against the ropes. Let's fight ourselves off the ropes a little bit here. And
taking a body from Langermeyer on that shot. That one sails out of bounds. Cornell retains possession. Coyle. Guarded by Van Buren, who's made his impact felt here today. Blake. Coming in for the right side. Sets a pick for Kirst. Kirst. Spinning. Trying to work his way in on Hodgins. Draws the penalty and scores. Bounce shot into the top left corner. CJ Kirst is just a phenomenal player. No D-pull can seem to distract him. He somehow stays with the ball and gets his spinning at the X. Drawing 2. Looking inside for Myers. His pass instead goes into the stick of Erlin. The Buckeyes just can't seem to break through in this second quarter, Bear.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the Cornell, having Kyle Smith guard Colby like that is just such a tall order, and they get away with it that time. Just not something I would expect to happen a lot, but they're putting a lot of faith in their short stick D middies.
Blake gets it to Kelleher, who just checked on. Langermeyer riding him as he approaches the X spot. He cycles it around. Going top right corner is Billy Coyle. Off the feed from Danny Bacafolo. And the Big Red starting to pour it on here in the second quarter. They jump up 7-3.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. They have so many weapons, and you spend so much time maybe looking at Kirk.
Going to take Ohio State lightly here, but the complete opposite. Their first real test of the season, and you just see how well prepared they are. They've come out so aggressive. Kirst goes bottom right corner. What a rocket to get the hat trick there. CJ Kirst puts Cornell up 5 off an absolute snipe.
Well, I was just bragging on the D middies, for sure. And I listen, they set a pick.
Little pick and roll game. They kick it out. McGee gearing up. Erlin stands tall, makes a huge save. Adler with the ground ball, and the Big Red are just a Big Red machine right now. Here they come again. Coyle gears up. He's got another. The Big Red are just pouring it on here now. 9-3 as Coyle's big first half continues. 4 points for the senior.
They're scoring in different ways. This is off the clear. We've seen them score off of faceoffs. We've seen them score in their 6-on-6. And it's get some shots on goal. There's 3 things right there. I think that if they can just hone in on those 3 things, they chip away at this lead that Big Red has.
And also just feels like every loose ground ball is won by the Big Red. Working his way in, Caputo. Fake there, Ed Sheehan. Haven't heard much from him. He goes low. 5 holes, Erlen. And the Buckeyes score their first goal in a while here to get themselves back on the board here and within 5.
Yeah, great job by the Buckeyes here. What they did is they took DeSico, put him down on this offensive end, and that traps Kelleher, the offensive midi for Cornell, down there. Plant him on goal line extended right there. Set that pick. They have to get that switch, and Sheehan against Kelleher is the match. And they need Sheehan to score points. They need Borda to be physical presence. There's some guys that are going to have to step up in the second half that didn't have a presence in the first half.
Yeah, he talked about how Buckeyes just not enough people it felt like not enough people touching the ball here. Oh, getting loose. Piatelli was just all alone. That was a free goal, and everyone goes over and celebrates J.J. Lombardi for that pass. That's the Cornell culture right there. Lombardi, eyes in the back of his head, finds Piatelli just loose right in front of the crease. Buckeyes forgot about him, and Cornell gets that goal right back.
Well, Lombardi had the short stick matchup, and Lombardi is, we discussed this earlier.
As they're trying to get themselves set up, Sheehan turns it over. Kelleher feeling the body from Langermeyer.
3 guys on the ball every time.
And the ball is loose. Coyle trying to swat the loose ball into the goal. Diving attempt there, Wallen with the ground ball, and he gets it to Jacob Snyder. Van Buren gets over midfield. All of a sudden getting attacked there by the Big Red. Looking for someone. Nice scoop.
Great patience by Van Buren there.
Sheehan working his way in, goes low, and scores! The Buckeyes respond there. Another goal there from Ed Sheehan. His second of the game and his second of the quarter.
Jack, the only way to get pressure off of you is beat it. It's just like a blitzing football team. They keep coming at you, and then you break one. You break one of those long ones. Well, now all of a sudden they for the people that are used to football, you see like now they drop back a little bit. They're not blitzing as much. This is the equivalent to that. Cornell is just all over it.
For Aiden Blake there, entering the crease, and Wallen turns it over. Kirst to Coyle. He's got the hat trick. Right after Wallen makes a huge save. A turnover in their own zone. Cornell takes easy advantage of that. Kirst to Coyle for goal number 11.
Coming off a failed clear. It's goal off of a ride. Go off of a ride, and those are killers. Because Skyler makes another beautiful doorstep save. He's there. He matches hands very well, as we can, not in this clip particularly. This is the
two of the better players. Kirst maybe the best player on this Big Red team, but Coyle, a rattler there. The Big Red coming in again. This time, it's Spencer Wertheim, who we've seen set up a couple players. He gets his first goal of the game, taking it in hard from the right side. This one, it's almost to tease the Buckeyes. This one rattles in off both pipes.
Yeah, this is exactly what the
Buckeyes down 7. Here comes Camille. He goes top corner. That's the second time we've seen him attempt a good, get a good shot there off the clear. First one banged off the pipe and out back into play. This one tuckles in after he goes bar down.
Beat the pressure. Yeah, that's a key to the game here. Is Cornell is going to put a full court press on you, using some basketball.
Coyle was there. And off Walland, another 60. Spinning, looking, and I think that hit his teammate. And it pops out perfectly to Langermeyer, who's on the run. Now he flips it back to White, and he scores! Scott White with a brilliant one-timer from Langermeyer. And the Ohio State Buckeyes trying to creep back in. They now trail by 5.
Scoring off clears. Yeah, they're scoring off clears. They're beat the pressure. And that's exactly what the Buckeyes need to do. They need to beat the pressure. They did a great job of being patient. These D-middies are getting up and out. The longer that the ball is down here and they're throwing passes on this side of the field.
Got 7 goals on the season. Has not scored today. Wanted that one. Moves it around. Jack Myers. He's got 2 pulls on him. Now over to White again. Scott White with a quick 2 goals. This one off a great feed from Jack Myers. And the Buckeyes with 2 quick goals in the last 2 minutes of this quarter here, Bear. Now they're down 4. They look different.
Well, when you beat the pressure of the ride, that causes Cornell to drop back, a little bit in less pressure ride. Then you can clear the ball a little bit easier. You start to breathe a little bit, getting guys involved. Jack.
It's only been tied for a second there at 1-1 in the first quarter. Since then, it's been all Cornell. The third quarter, as we said, the Buckeyes won the third quarter. That's all you can really ask for when you're down 6, trying to get yourself back into the game here. Give yourself a chance to claw back in it. And now, Brian Puatelli off that tic-tac-toe around the world passing. The Big Red set up their senior midfielder to fire home his hat-trick goal there. 13-8 now the score.
This is a new way that Cornell has scored against the Buckeyes off the subbing game. And they're just, every phase of the game, they have, some they can manipulate, what they're looking for. And we see that they win this subbing game, which puts the pressure on the defense. And they have to slide to that.
On to the Buckeyes, and the Big Red just put their big foot on it. And there's C.J. Kirst off the feed from J.J. Lombardi. The best player in the country will not be denied. That's goal number 4.
Had a chance to speak with Coach Busick yesterday and just talk about CJ. And so not only is he just a special player, but he's like, life is easy when your best player is your hardest worker. And that's something that he's showing here today. I mean, he's showing it with the ball, off ball.
Diss it out here to Dalton. A 2-man game between Dalton and Sheehan. Sheehan hits the ground as he gets it over to Lombardi, and Lombardi, a nice shot on Wallen, just kind of zooms by his head. Coyle draws the pick, and coming around off that pick, he gets goal number 4 going top corner. Billy Coyle, his 11th goal of the season there. We saw the flag fly there, Bear. I didn't know if it was for the Buckeyes came through that pick. Or?
Yeah, they blew up the pick. Van Buren goes through it pretty physical, and we'll see it here on the replay. Well, not necessarily that, but the shot on the run coming from behind off of that pick.
The space, and he lets one rip. Sails over Erlin's head. Now Ohio State needing to take advantage of this. Lewis. A little back and forth. He finds him inside. Great feed there to Ed Sheen again. Or excuse me, that was Matt Caputo, who had just been shoved on for Sheen. And Caputo with his first goal of the game. The Buckeyes, they're scoring quick. It's just they don't have an answer for Cornell on the other end.
Well, a quick glance at the stat sheet. I mean, it's still 54 shots for Cornell, and 35 now should go up to for the Buckeyes, which obviously is not ideal.
Now they're going to get a possession on at least, but time is run low here. The Big Red look like they're going to stay perfect. Somehow Ed Sheen did not walk out of bounds there. Great balance there from the sophomore. The Big Red are going to advance to 4-0 on the season, as getting himself goal number 2 is Matt Caputo. Falling to the ground. He uses the ground to bounce it up over Erlen and take the Buckeyes to within 4 here with 45.8 to go.
Well, Jack, I tell you, that's a great, it's got to be a strong finish for the Buckeyes. Head into pretty much been driving the car the whole game. But I tell you, the Buckeyes have had flashes, where they've shown like, hey, and much like the UNC game, that they were able to come back and win. I felt like they had that, at times, just not enough times.
Now inside for Sheen from Myers. The Buckeyes with some life here in the last minutes of this game. They cut it to within 3 on Sheen's 4th goal of the game. So the Buckeyes refusing to quit. They got 30 seconds to go.
Definitely
going to loft it up. Trying to not go out of bounds, but it doesn't matter. They're going to let the horns sound anyway. The Cornell Big Red coming to Columbus and put their foot down on the Buckeyes, pulling off the win here on the road. 16-13 the final score. They use a dominant first half to put themselves up 6. They end up winning by 3, and the Buckeyes fought, but not without their mistakes that hurt them, Bear.
Yeah, they definitely have some things to clean up. I mean, Big Red was able to, score in a lot of different, ways. Whether it was, off the face-off, clear, ride, 6v6, man up. So when you see that, you're like, wow, there's a lot of things we have to work on. But at the end of the day, you lost by 3. You lost by 3 to the number 3 team in the country. Not that you want to go through.